Hey everybody, this is Nero from Arizona Studios with New Script on the Block, and we are um, doing the segment before the scene, and we are looking at 1917. And I am here with my co-hostings, um, Graham, Alyssa, and Ash. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Cool. You can find the script on
Um,
nofilmschool.com. We have links. We should have links, right?
On YouTube and SoundCloud.
Yes. Cool. Thanks for the
everywhere
save.
else, you're on your own.
This is going very smoothly. I like it. Nero,
Yeah, what's up?
you were telling us before we started rolling about the director who is one of the writers on the script, Sam Mendes.
Yes.
Please continue.
Sam Mendes, also director of a couple of the James Bond movies that feature Daniel Craig. That's Sam Mendes. He was inspired to write this movie and, to put out this movie because of his grandfather, who I believe served during World War One, the First World War, the Great War. So, yeah, I think this is kind of like a tribute to his grandfather and to, those who served during that war. Yep,
Cool.
that's just the backstory there. And this movie also has like its notoriety of being like a one-shot film by Roger Deakins. So we're gonna kind of see how that translate on the script and how that is seen visually,
Awesome.
I guess. Yeah.
All right, well, that covers the note in their note section. So
Oh,
if
really?
we just want to move into, the note is that the script is designed to be shot in real time as one continuous shot.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
I'm kind
quote, there's like a quote thing. Do you want to talk about that? Like after the title page, there's like a page 2.
Go. Do you want to read them?
Oh, sure. There. Okay, hold on, real quick. There's like the title page, right? And then the next page has the double I's on the top. So that's like what, 2 in Roman numeral, and then 3, and then it goes back to 1. So I've never seen that before. Is that how it's done?
I think it's because those are so sort of like your table of contents in a book. Like the prologue is its own section, and then there's the chapters of the actual book.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then so the quote was, life, to be sure, is nothing much to lose, but young men think it is, and we were young. And that's by A.E. Houseman. And then there's another quote, we have so much to say, and we shall never say it. Eric Maria Remarque? Sounds French. Sounds like a French person. All Quiet on the Western Front. Isn't that a movie? Or is that a book?
I'm going to be honest. I am not educated enough to know these quotes.
It's a book.
Yeah. I went to high school in Idaho. It's public school.
Yeah, it looks like it's a book.
Thank God for the internet. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Interior dugout continuous. Lit, oh God, hold on. Okay. Lit by paraffin lamps. It takes Schofield a moment for his eyes to adjust to the half-light. He and Blake hand their rifle to the orderlies, salute, and stand at attention. There is a simmering sense of unease in this place. In the center of the room, there are 2 tables. On one table lie several maps. On the other are a number of large aerial reconnaissance photographs. General Aramore, 50s, Lieutenant Gordon, 40s, and a captain are gathered around the far table, looking down at the aerials, talking in hushed tones. Other men watch from the shadows, 2 NCOs and another orderly.
Lance Corporals Blake and Schofield, sir.
General Aaronmore turns round, looks at Blake and Schofield.
Which one of you is Blake?
Sir.
You have a brother, a lieutenant in the 2nd Devons?
Yes, sir. Joseph Blake. Is he...
Alive, as far as I know. And with your help, I'd like to keep it that way.
Blake stares at Aaronmore. He would do anything.
Sanders tells me you're good with maps. That true?
Good enough, sir.
So?
Aaronmore turns the map to face Blake. The British lines are marked in blue, the German lines in red.
We are here. The 2nd Devons are advancing here.
He points out across on the map of Crocelius Wood.
How long will it take you to get there?
Blake hesitantly studies it. Crocelius Wood sits in the center of a huge area of land, which is scored as occupied territory. I don't understand, sir.
Sir, that land is held by the Germans.
The Germans have gone.
Shock plays on their faces.
Don't get your hopes up. It appears to be a strategic withdrawal. They seem to have created a new line, 9 miles back here, by the looks of it.
Continued. 2. Aaronmore runs his fingers along the massed red lines of the German trenches and fortifications newly drawn on the map. The new German line, what came to be known as the Hindenburg Line, is huge and cuts its way across the paper, almost intersecting with Crocelius Wood.
Colonel Mackenzie is in command of the 2nd. He sent word yesterday morning that he was going after the retreating Germans. He is convinced he has them on the run, that if he can break their lines now, he will turn the tide. He is wrong.
Schofield watches Blake as he begins to register what this might mean.
Colonel Mackenzie has not seen these new aerials of the enemy's new line.
Aaronmore turns to the other table.
Come around here, gentlemen.
Blake and Schofield move to the next table. They look down at the large aerial photographs.
3 miles deep. Field fortifications, defenses, and artillery, the like of which we've never seen before.
Beat.
The 2nd are due to attack the line shortly after dawn tomorrow. They have no idea what they're in for, and we can't warn them. As a parting gift, the enemy cut all of our telephone lines.
Blake and Schofield are silent while they take this in.
Your orders are to get to the 2nd at Crocelius Wood, 1 mile southeast of the town of Ikoust.
Aaronmore hands over an envelope to Blake. We see the distinctive red stamp of Army Command.
Deliver this to Colonel Mackenzie. It is a direct order to call off tomorrow's morning's attack.
Aaronmore speaks slowly, desperate to impress upon Blake and Schofield the gravity of this situation. Nothing can be misunderstood.
If you don't, it will be a massacre. We would lose 2 battalions, 1,600 men, your brother among them.
Schofield hides his shock, but Blake looks at Aaronmore, determination etched in his face. Understood.
Do you think you can get there in time?
Oh, am I Blake? I'm so
Yes.
sorry. I'm sorry. Can you do yours again?
Blake, are you listening, Blake? Blake, do you think you can get there in time?
This is a really stressful situation, Captain. No.
I just need a yes, Blake.
I don't know if I can give you that, Captain. Okay, can we go?
Do you think you can get there in time?
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
No, sir. Schofield's eyes flick to Blake. No question. Blake purposefully doesn't catch Schofield's eye.
Good. Over to you, Lieutenant.
The men salute Aaronmore. Lieutenant Gordon stands to one side.
Supplies, gentlemen.
Lieutenant Gordon nods them over to the table. Various items are laid out on it.
Map, torches, grenades, and a couple of little treats.
They look, a folded map, 2 electric torches, 2 grenades, and 2 small packs of Huntley and Palmer biscuits lie on the table. They take them and start hastily putting them into their webbing. While they do,
Leave immediately. Take the trench west. Up on... oh...
Suchali Hall.
What?
Suchali Hall.
Up on Sachali Hall Street. That does not... that sounds like a jolly street. Anyways.
I don't think that's right, by the way.
Then northwest on Paradise Valley at the front. Continue along the front line until you find the Yorks.
Gordon slides a note into Blake's top pocket.
Give this note to Major Stevenson. He's holding the line at the shortest span of no man's land. You'll cross there.
Both men turn at the mention of no man's land.
It will be daylight, sir. They'll see us.
No need to be concerned. You should meet no resistance.
An orderly hands them back their rifles. Blake moves toward the doorway. Schofield turns to Aaronmore.
Sir, is it just us?
Aaronmore looks up.
Down to the Gehenna or up to the throne. He travels the fastest who travels alone. Wouldn't you say, Lieutenant?
Yes, sir, I would.
The general looks at them levelly.
Good luck.
Blake and Schofield turn and head through the door. Sweet.
Thank you, Alyssa.
You're welcome, Nero. That was for you.
Yay. That was me clapping. I don't know if you can hear that.
A little. Well, yeah. I'll get the real thing someday. It's good. All right, well, I mean, since this whole thing is one shot, there's not like a whole lot of, technical stuff. I get really lost during military movies with like just terminology, and again they talk a lot about like maps and locations and tools and shit, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Were there... I mean, the names were what was, I guess, really throwing me off. I mean, I guess I know what the front line is in No Man's Land. But other than that, I don't think there was anything... Was there anything out of the blue that kind of threw you off on this one?
Well, like, even just obviously they're talking about geographical locations, and I guess for me, throwing in a bunch of directions to a place that I have no perception of, like, that just to me is like, this is just text for the sake of text. Like we're talking through where these guys are going, I get that. But because the audience doesn't know that area or anything, it's just like, to me, like listening to a block of conversation that I have it has no relevance to me. Like, it's hard for me to put it into perspective. Like in movies where they're talking about something and they visually lay out for you what they're talking about, like that is useful. In something like this, where it's a one-shot that's focused on the main characters the whole time, we're not cutting away to what they're referring to at all.
Right.
So we're just talking through directions for like a big chunk of this conversation and just staring at them talking about it.
Yeah. Hey, Nero, you know how this is when they go down into that like darker room, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
They did have that
headquarters.
Yeah, they did have that map. Do you remember if they ever pointed the camera down at it, or was it more of just like focus on the characters?
Think there is a subtle tilt, but we're never like on it for a long time.
So I guess that's my problem is there's these characters kind of standing around talking about like logistical things that we as the audience can't see or understand, and then we're just watching them talk about
Okay,
stuff.
so what I would say is that since I have the advantage of like having watched this movie, you're kind of like this confusion, this sense of confusion is kind of like it's appropriate because just imagine these two dudes, Schofield and Blake, they're just like, hey, go to the headquarters, like, section of this trench, right? Because you got orders, and they're confused by that immediately. They're like, what do they want from us, And then when they get into that room, this dark room where the general, like the big Airmore, general dude, someone they don't really talk to, like, that's just not the hierarchy in the military. They're just, grunts, and now they're talking to a general. They're like, whoa, holy shit. And the general is just like spewing out all this information. That's why when there's this like moment where Schofield is like trying to hide his shock, and he's like looking over at Blake, but Blake is just taking it like immediately. Like there's like Blake's like, no, I don't have any questions. Schofield is like, dude, there's like so many questions. I like have 100 questions. It's kind of like that. You're just bombarded with all this information, and there's that tension of like, it's like hurry up and like it's wait and then hurry up. It's like immediate. So there's that like discomfort of immediately having to do something that is super, super important. So,
I feel like getting to see in the scene the reaction points of the actors would help add like emotion and tension, but I don't feel that when I'm reading the script.
Oh, that's fair. That's definitely fair. Because it is just him. Like it's exposition for the rest of the movie. It's like this is why you need to go.
Yeah, I mean that's a great way of putting it. That is like the dialogue in this sequence is mostly exposition. And again, like I don't feel like they give a lot of emotional cues per se.
There might be one, but it's just maybe not performed as it should. It's like he's like saying, hey, we're gonna lose like a bunch of men, your brother among them. I think that's like supposed to be an emotional cue for Blake.
I think it's not. No, I hear that. I don't think it's an issue of performance in the dialogue. I'm saying, like in the action descriptions, right? Like the reactions and thoughts. Like Schofield hides his shock, but Blake looks at Aramore, determination etched in his face, understood. Like that just to me is so like brief and cold and not feeling. I guess.
I think that makes sense for Blake. But we'll see it in the scene.
Yeah.
But
So, any other thoughts on the actual script from you guys?
Like, I wonder if you might get more of that, what you're wanting, from later on the script when it becomes more intimate. Because this is like a professional scene where they have to act professional, but then like later on they're like kind of yelling at each other and like talking to each other in certain ways. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say this, like, I guess, like, this is just my personal experience, but I have a tainted perspective on war stories because I feel like a lot of them can get bogged down in the technical and the, like, professional representation of that setting.
Tell me about it.
And then it makes it really hard for someone who doesn't understand those things to really appreciate and enjoy.
Right.
I get that.
Like,
honestly,
go ahead.
I think that this movie, like Nero said, it kind of bombards you at the beginning, and then it's more about him trying to go get his brother or deliver this message, but it's more about their story and their relationship and him trying to go find his brother than like you continuously being bombarded with different terms and um, equipment and all that kind of stuff.
For sure. I use this as an example because I think that a lot of audiences are under the impression of like, if I don't like this thing, like if I don't like volleyball, then I'm not going to go watch a movie about a volleyball, coach and their experience with training these girls to, play on a national level or whatever. I think a lot of people have that perspective, and that's like, but at the same time, I know that there are shows and movies where if the story isn't really about the thing that they're doing, right? Like they could be whatever, their hobby can be whatever, and it doesn't matter because the story is about the characters and what they're feeling and experiencing and going through, and that's what makes it interesting, even if you're not into the thing that they're doing
Right.
for a majority of the movie or the series, right?
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I feel that way about like I haven't had that experience yet with a war movie. Like I haven't had the experience of watching a war movie and feeling like this isn't about like the fact that they're in the military or the battle or anything like that. It's about these characters and what they're experiencing.
I'm gonna find you one, Alyssa.
I think it's
Yeah,
tough with
find me a
war
good one.
movies because like so much of it, I don't know, like they're in combat or they're on a mission, so it's hard to stay away from that.
Yeah. No, I get that, but I think that's why I've had a hard time attaching to one. Like, I always use this as my example. Like, I am not a musically inclined person at all. I really don't know anything about music. I certainly know nothing about writing or making music or performing. But I got super into Your Lie in April, which revolves around a character who is a pianist, and the other main character is a violinist. And I was able to enjoy that so much and get so deeply enthralled in it, despite music being a huge part of it, just because the characters and their backstories and their emotional development throughout the plot was engaging. And I haven't found that quite yet with a war movie. But Nero, I encourage you, if you find one, send it my way.
But you should definitely watch this one if you get a chance, or like
I want to watch the scene for sure.
1917. Yeah.
I mean, the trailer was beautiful. I'll say that. Like and obviously the shooting style is something that makes it very appealing to people who are into film.
Yeah. Just the biggest character motivation, because I mean, yeah, they are on a mission and they kind of have that obligation serving in the military, but like after they leave the scene that we just read, it's all about his brother. It's like, hey, I need to do this not for the greater good of our side of the British side, but like I need to make sure my brother is okay. Is kind of like the driving force.
Yeah.
For Blake.
Like there's a personal motivation that is beyond just serving.
Yeah.
I getcha. Yeah, have you guys watched This Is Us?
No.
This Is Us. Yeah.
No.
I catch it because I catch Claire watching it.
Well, it's really well written, but there is like there are two brothers who served in Vietnam in that story, and for a while they explore like their time there, and that I feel like is the closest I've gotten, right? Like it is more about them and their relationship and how it was impacted by these events.
Right.
Would you consider Tropic Thunder a war movie?
I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
Oh.
You tell me.
I mean, I don't know. Nero, what do you say to that?
Jesus. I would say yes, Tropic Thunder is a war movie. It's a war tribute movie.
I thought that was a movie about people who are making a movie. Now I'm confused.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's
It's about
So then
them
is it
making
really
a
a
movie,
war
but then
movie?
they get caught up in
Yes.
something.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's a
All right,
comedy.
well then.
It's not really a war
Yeah.
movie. It's a comedy with a war
I heard
setting.
that. I haven't watched it, but I heard that movie is one of those, like, the offensive type of humor is like, this was made at this time, and it wouldn't be as popular or funny or well accepted now.
I don't know.
in a way, yes.
It
I
seems
can't remember.
like
It was an interview with one of the actors, and they said that.
I think for Ben Stiller's character, it's. I don't want to ruin it, but
I mean,
Anyway,
I
they're
probably.
off topic.
what's the
won't watch
chances of Alyssa watching that movie?
It's really
I don't
low.
know. Okay, well, because they're all actors and they're they're on location shooting a movie, but then things happen, and Ben Stiller's character, since he's an actor, he's done many roles. He played a role of a mentally disabled character, and where they're at, they love that character. And so, but because Ben Stiller plays this character that is special, I guess. I don't know.
Simple.
This is-
Disabled, right?
Simple
Like
Jack.
we're talking about someone.
Yes. Yeah, so the character's name is Simple Jack, and so I think that's one of the things that people are like, oh, that would not fly nowadays.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like he
Because
went.
I'm assuming it mocks, like, disability. Is that what we're saying here?
More or less, yes. Because
yeah.
Ben Stiller's character like kept playing an action hero, and he
Mhm.
wanted to like win an Oscar one day, so he went and portrayed a mentally disabled like character in a movie called Simple Jack
Mm-hmm.
in order to like diversify his image, but that didn't go so well because he went full quote unquote full retard
When
as
was
an
it?
actor.
When was this movie made?
What was this movie made?
Like
2000
2009 or something like that.
It was released in 2008.
Okay, yeah. It's been at least 10 years.
It's been
12.
12 years.
Yeah.
It's a movie about making a
Interesting.
movie, so it's weak sauce.
Ouch. Okay. We made a movie about making a movie, but that's fine.
Oh shit. I mean Hollywood weak sauce.
Just stop. You're gonna.
All right,
you're
there's
gonna
no coming
keep
back
digging
from
a
this.
hole.
All right. Do you guys want to watch the scene? Is there anything else about this movie or the script that stand out to you guys?
I'm really like kind of kicking myself of like maybe I should have picked just like from the top of the script, just so that it's a little bit more like painting the picture of where they're at, Blake and Schofield's interaction with each other.
I think that this seems fine. I mean, look, I think that the thing that makes this segment helpful to aspiring writers is to read things that are diverse in nature, and I feel like this script may not be super, like, the part we read may not be the flashiest, most emotional segment, but there's something to be said about writing stories that are highly technical and take place in a specific world, career path, or things of that nature, and writing to that. So I don't think that it's a bad scene. I just think that it's a scene that is hard for someone who is a layman to totally understand. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's just also like I wish there was a little more just for like the listeners and also for us of painting a better picture of what environment they're in.
Well, they can go watch the scene. We'll link the scene in the description on our YouTube video and our SoundCloud. Go watch the actual scene, and that'll give you a little bit more of the context and depth to what the environment is. All right, do you guys want to watch the scene and then hop back on?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Arizona Studios. Arizona Studios, a full-service video content specialist. We're here to illuminate your message and compel your audience to take the right action. For more information, head to our website at arizonastudios.com and be sure to tune in for more content on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
I don't know. I'm not going to lie, guys. This clip does not make me desperately want to watch this movie. I can't imagine how they're able to do this and it not be painfully slow-paced because it's shot in real time.
You know what? To be honest with you, the movie felt really quick. That's my that was me and a bunch of others that we watched it with. We all kind of felt that way. I don't know about you, Graham.
I don't think it was quick, but I don't think it was like it dragged on or slow paced. The fact that they were moving locations so much, like they had so many different locations that they were just walking through. I think that's what sped it up a lot. And there was a lot of intense moments where it kind of kept you on the edge of your seats, or whether they were telling a story or going through something. So I think I don't think it was slow, in my opinion.
Okay. I just I really enjoyed Birdman, and I know that was shot to look like a continuous shot. So like similar in style, but like this scene to me does feel like, I don't know, I guess I feel like there was as much tension as there could have been, given what they're talking about.
And all I can say is just try to watch the whole thing, and
Okay.
then you'll get the full effect. Because this just like I mentioned earlier was like, this is just your moment of exposition of what they have to do, and from there, you get to experience how they accomplish it.
Anybody else got comments on the clip?
I should have picked a better scene. I'm sorry, guys.
That's fine.
You're fine, Ashley.
If I'm being honest, it was really quiet for me. I mean, I have seen the movie, so I know like what they say, and we just read the script and whatnot. But it was really hard for me to hear the clip.
Oh, that's funny because the sound design was something that stood out to me. But that's, I think, generally the case in movies like this where they are wearing like a lot of gear and carrying things with them. Like, man, that sound design.
I think did it win something for sound design? Or was it, what was it?
You can look that up real quick.
Best sound mix?
You know what, Alyssa? If you get the time to watch even just the very beginning of the clip instead of starting at the dugout, maybe that'll kind of give you a little bit more of
Yeah, I hear you.
of the pacing, of how the pacing is set, because it's only when they go to the dugout when they have to like stand there and talk, and then the rest is just moving and talking and performing and acting and dodging bullets and shit.
Gotcha. So, quick note, sound editing for 2020 Oscars went to Ford v. Ferrari. But yeah,
Oh, damn.
1917 was one of the nominees in that category.
What did it win? Did it win anything?
Oh,
Best
it
cinematography,
did win.
Best visual
It
effects,
won
and best sound mixing. Sorry, Alyssa.
Yeah.
What?
It's okay. That's all I was going to say.
I didn't hear any of that. What?
Best cinematography, best visual effects, and best sound mixing.
Sound mixing versus Ford versus Ferraris was for what?
Sound editing.
Sound editing versus sound mixing.
I'm not personally clear on the difference. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'm like, huh?
I mean, I think I don't know, but I think mixing is like the levels of it and like what you can hear versus what not hearing, and then editing's like I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's what I think it is.
If that was your guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, the sound was good.
Did you feel like there was any tension that was translated visually that wasn't translated via the script?
I mean, I didn't personally, but I mean, maybe it'd be different if I watched the whole thing and there was new context. I'm not sure. I didn't feel that the actors' performances in the sequence made me feel any more tension than just reading the text.
Like, you can tell from Schofield's reaction after Aaron Moore says, like, okay, well, do you have any questions? And Blake's like, no, sir. And like the quick like look to Blake of like, wait, are you sure you don't have any questions? Like that from the script to the screen was very distinguishable to me. I don't know if that answers your question.
I mean, it does. This is if anyone had any more thoughts about the script versus the scene, before the scene.
Like just in general.
Can I
go
go back
credits?
to editing and mixing real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I guess from what I've read, sound editing is about collecting or producing the sounds, and then mixing refers to what is done after they're collected. So, what I would consider editing, like putting them in place, but I guess that's considered mixing when it comes to sound.
Got you. So basically the people who do all of the Foley ADR recording versus the people who are actually putting the final mix together.
Correct.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Sorry, I just wanted to
Speaking
throw
of
that in
that, are you guys hearing like lawnmower?
No.
Nope.
Cool.
No.
Alright, me neither.
I gotta be honest, guys. This didn't sell me on it. I'm just gonna say it openly. I mean, like, maybe it is a really good movie, and I'm sure that again, like taking on the feat of doing a one shot for an entire movie, doing it in real time, I'm sure it has its emotional pulls. But in this scene, to me, it just seemed like I just felt like the pacing and the emotion could be even stronger if we had insert shots and time to hold on things.
That's not his vision.
I know it's not the director's, and that's fine. Like, they made the choice they made, and people enjoyed it, and that's great. I'm just saying, I'm not sure I can make it through this whole thing.
Like, they cheat inserts by just panning the camera.
By just panning the camera.
They're like, oh, you need to insert? Let me just put this camera right up to it. All right. And they turn back to the actors. Got your insert right here, real time. Hey, I mean, speaking of that, real quick before we end this, there's a scene with where Schofield is like getting shot at. I think the lack of inserts there kind of puts some tension on the character because he can't see where the shots are coming from. And I think that kind of helps add to the mystique of being like on the front lines and dealing with that. It's like, oh shit, I'm getting shot at and I can't stop those shots from coming at me because I don't know where they're coming from and stuff like that, No,
I mean, I'm sure that the technical decision to do a one shot, especially in a story that takes place during a war, like I agree that there are obvious benefits to that. Like, I'm sure it puts the audience in the shoes of the character more so than if we were having multiple cuts to different things.
Okay, well, that's that then.
I wonder how many like scene headings there are, like how they break that up. But other than that, there's nothing else really on this script that I have to say.
From what Graham just said, it seems like they're just doing it traditionally. It's like, oh, like we're in the trench and then into your dugout, because there are those like obvious moments where they definitely changed areas. So I think they just kept that going.
Even
Like
though
when
there's
they,
not too much of a breakup in the actual movie.
yeah, because like for example, there's like the dugout, right? And then they walk back out onto the trench, and then from there there's probably they're in the trench and no man's land is just over the trench. So when they like finally climb up from the trench into no man's land, that's probably when they say, oh, exterior no man's land.
Right.
Or when Schofield like is like in a farm, like there's like a farm, and he like goes from the farm into a truck. That now it's like interior truck, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's just done simply like that. Even though the truck is on the farm, the camera and Schofield is in the truck itself, so it's changed, and we stay inside the truck with him for the longest time. So it's probably going to stay the truck. Does that
I'd
make
love
sense?
to see, yeah, I'd love to see the shooting list or like the shot list, or if he wrote down anything on, like if Roger Deakins wrote anything on this script, or I would just love to see
Yeah,
his thought process on this.
I figured he just like because there's just the obvious breaks. I mean, it is shot like a one, like it's edited like a one shot. So he probably said, okay, from the trench to the dugout, because at the dugout there's a cut, because when they go in, it's dark, and that could definitely be where
Oh
they
yeah, easy cut.
made a cut. Or when they're walking in the trench, and then some men and some like cargo like go past them, and it blocks the view, the camera's view on our characters. That's definitely a cut, you know.
Hmm.
So his shot list is probably from one point to this point, and then there's going to be a hide. Like in his shot list, it's like, okay, here we have to shoot something go past when we start recording again. You know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, totally. I just wish I could see his work.
We missed our chance to, because there was that contest where if we shot a one shot, we could
Oh
have
yeah.
like won that thing where we go and meet the crew, the cast and crew, and be like, "Hey, Roger Deakins, can you show me your shot list?" Yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, I have it right here in my pocket." You know.
Okay, cool. Well, awesome.
Well, that wraps
So-
things up for this segment of New Script on the Block before the scene. You could find us on, Alyssa, take it away.
Instagram at Arizona Studios, Twitter at Arizona Studios. You can find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts at Arizona Studios. So yeah, just remember at Arizona Studios. Pretty much anywhere where you go for media, you'll find us there. Anywhere that's family friendly.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Bye.
Tune in next time.